We talked about the RX program that they had in Dannemora State Prison, a place called Clinton on the Montreal border, upstate New York, with Nazi-type positions, creating for anybody that took on a militant posture, a revolutionary posture. They were assigned back to be thrown into the solitary confinement, beaten, and then after they were beaten, they waited for their operation, and the physicians committed frontal lobe or lobotomies on militant, powerful militant brothers, and at the end of it, those militant warriors you saw, one day after the operation, you saw this. Let's not underestimate the fascist evil of the classes that we're dealing with. Let's not underestimate, let's not romanticize this movement, this struggle, because there are some serious evil bastards that are in control of the fascist police states that we live in. Putting all this out, trying to get redressed with the Attica Liberation Front, we get all this stuff addressed humanely, and of course they would never hear us humanely. So one day there was a struggle out in the yard. Well, there was a football thing going on in the yard. You couldn't fraternize more than 3 people at a time, otherwise you were locked up and thrown into the box. And there was a football game going on, a white brother and a black brother were scrimmaging. All of a sudden, this lieutenant walks out in the yard and says, "Lock that fucking nigger up now." But they ain't never said nothing about the white guy. So then the black guy, when they went to get him, and I was pushing some weights on the Indian bar, everybody had their own areas. So the natives from upstate New York in Attica were pushing iron, and I was struggling with a couple 100 pounds. I was just started out in it, doing bench presses. And my friend, this big Indian guy named Lenny from Rochester, said, "Hey, did you see that?" I said, "Did I see what?" "What?" I put down the bars, and just as I got up, the black brother, man, was getting just hauled off and punched. He was a Panther brother. He punched the lieutenant in the mouth again. I said, "Whoa! I like that." Damn right. Yes. You gotta remember, and I haven't told the whole story, about the years I was in residential type schools, and I was getting beaten and tortured and raped by these evil sons of bitches, or sons of animals. And I don't mean to be demeaning with the sisterhood, please. These bastards. I learned a long time ago, and I understood a long time ago, why women who have been victims at the other end of victims of rape, I understood why when they say enough is enough, and when they say no, they mean no. And at that point, but there's anger that comes after being degraded. There's so much anger and hatred. Once you get over the fear of the terrorizing of somebody forcing himself on you. Or a priest telling you in these schools, residential schools, that Jesus loved you while he takes a crucifix and tries to shove it up your ass. Now I can understand why Sister Emma Goldman hated the church in the States. I took issue with them. So did Brother William Reich. And if anybody, you have not read this book, The Mass Psychology of Fascism by Wilhelm Reich, you must read it. It's a must read. It's a must read. Anyways, the guards took those guys out. Now, oh, by the way, when I said yeah, I'm openly admitted that I put the bars down and I jumped up. Everybody, for the first time, lost the fear. So we all came and supported these two guys. The white guy said, "If you lock him up, you lock me up." The lieutenant saw, and all the goon squad seen us all surround him. And as we surrounded him, the lieutenant started getting scared. So the lieutenant says, "Well, I give you my Eagle Scout's honor. We won't lock him up." I reached out and smacked him in the face. I said, Screw your goddamn Eagle Scouts out there. It don't mean nothing to us. Nothing. That's okay. That's okay. You can take courage with that. You can take, because these guys, I've just told you that they killed with impunity. They put people in unmarked graves. Now we're saying you're not going to do that no more. So I hit them. These guys, they only had 16 days to know who I was. They didn't know who I was. Final analysis, we all went back to the cells. The guards were going down looking for certain people. They took those other two guys. They were looking for me, but they couldn't identify me. So they went past me. They took those guys out of their cell that night. The next day, the whole word went around the prison grapevine. Don't take any food. Don't take any food, and don't work on work strike. Because you know, we were working in prison industries, making millions of dollars of profits for the things that were created out of the industry. Guess how much we got paid a day? Huh? 50 cents. 2 cents. 2 cents a day. And all the free contaminated junk tobacco you could use with Indian names like Seneca and Cayuga tobacco products. I'm breezing through this. We decided at that point, we grabbed, when we came out of that, nobody took food. There was total silence. The cops were sitting there behind the walls. You could hear the keys shaking. They were nervous. At that point, we could smell their fear. And that started to empower us. Black, white, Hispanic, Native, Indigenous, Oriental, Asian. We all felt our power at that time. We felt the power of unity. At that point, there was no turning back. We went to go outside. They had everything closed up. They tried to lock us up. A couple of Panther brothers were walking down the hall, and Sam Melville, a white brother, the Weather Underground brother, walking down the hallway. All these cops come down, up the hall. The Panther brothers said, "What happened to those two brothers last night?" 6'5", 240 pounds of muscle. They said, "Well, we don't know, fellas." Boom! The Panther drops it. Bam! Sam Melville comes in and kicks her ribs in. I turned around and said, "This is it. Take this fucking place now." There it comes. When we were gone, we started grabbing hostages. We started throwing them in prison inmate clubs, so they couldn't be distinguished between hostages, because we knew the state was going to mobilize their military forces, their police forces, to come in fully loaded with guns, and we were getting ready, man, to make a complete defense. This was it. So when we started running down the halls, we started overturning everything over there inside A block. By the time we got down to the gates, they were all closed off. They stopped us from getting the other 3/4. Eventually, what we did was 60 of us kept pulling on the steel gate. And I can tell you, as we pulled on that gate, that the muscle power and the willpower, we snatched that gate right out of the wall, and the walls came tumbling down. Oh, the official report said it was a defective weld. Don't you believe that? Don't you believe that? Because they don't want you to know how strong we are, how powerful we are when we start to march and demand our freedom and integrity, and to put these people in place. They don't want you to know what our power is.